Hello everyone, thanks for taking the time to stop by and view the channel. What is the full moon of June? What's special about it? Well, it's not that it's that special, but this full moon will be the smallest full moon of 2017, the one we're looking at right now. Like all June full moons, it's low in the sky from the northern hemisphere and it's high in the sky from the southern hemisphere. Full moon crests on June 9th, which was yesterday, 2017, at 1:10 UTC time. Translate to your own time zones, obviously, to know the time if you want to know the exact time to record it. The moon is at its apogee, meaning it's at its farthest point from Earth for this month. On June 8th, at around 22 UTC time, that's when it was at its furthest. The nearness in time of the month's farthest moon and the month's full moon are what make this full moon of June the smallest of the year. They say that we're not likely to notice that the full moon appears that much smaller by the naked eye, although cameras may pick it up, and for sure telescopes do because I'm seeing it myself. Some of the structures are very far out. It seems that we have to zoom in a little bit more to get a nice full effect. I had a lot of clouds. I was not that lucky with the clouds, but Sinus iridum, Mare Serenitatis, Tycho crater, everything's connected, guys. Completely connected. And the ones with the telescopes must be seeing this. This is ridiculous. There's so many geometrical shapes down there. You don't need a big telescope to see that the moon has geometrical shapes. And I don't understand why there are not more people. There are many, yeah. No, there are not many. There are only some that have the channels doing this. There should be hundreds of thousands of people and channels doing this. These blue areas on the surface, guys, on the moon, it's moving. They're billowing. There's always movement, and it's not just the lights, it's those dark blue areas. And they are very blue. And the more you contrast it, yes, it'll get darker and gray, but in general, it's a bluish hue that's coming back. And think back. Why did they call these areas like the mares? What does a mare mean? La mer. It's the sea. So me, myself, I definitely believe that the moon either has or had water. And wait a minute. Let's get one thing very straight. NASA themselves have confirmed that there is water on the moon. So we got some feedback of, well, them about that. Look at the blue areas, the blue patches, whether it be a light. It does not really look like an emanating light. It does look more like a surface that's billowing. But again, we have these descending levels that are all around Tycho crater. Tycho, it's incredible. The high rising white structures that are around Tycho crater that we really just don't notice when we're looking at the moon, but they're there. And the more we zoom up, the more we can see them. Look at the craters on the bottom right here, one beside the other. They're not craters, guys. These are not craters. We're not looking at craters on the moon. They're either drill marks, they're either prefabricated, alien to us, meaning not necessarily green men sitting in them, but it's alien to our construction here on our Earth. It's obviously, um, you know, what could the moon be? Could it be a big filtration sponge, coral sponge, filtrating water, and that when it's full, falls down to Earth, and this is where we're getting our water? I have thought of so many things. I don't tell everyone. Actually, I don't tell anyone. I should maybe have not mentioned this to you guys, but yeah, out of the box. Some of you think out of the box. I think out and away from the box. I'm even outside of the room where the box is in, maybe even the country, because there's so many ways to look at a problem, to solve a problem, and there's so many ways to think out of the box. Meaning, look at here, top left of Serenitatis. See the structure? Look. top left of Mare Serenitatis. I'll be working on this in a couple of days to get it clearer. We'll see it here again in X-ray shot. Top of Mare Serenitatis, top left. Are you ready? Top left of the screen. Boom, right there. There it is. Top left of the screen. Straight enough for you? A geometrical square shape with structures all around it. They're right in our faces. We can't see it. NASA dares even say that it's a flat surface. No, it's not a flat surface. There is no surface on Mare Serenitatis. I guarantee it. We're seeing it. There's a surface on different levels. You can't just land on a flat surface. There is no flat surface. And all these lines, look at the blue here, all these lines leaving Tycho crater, they are going to every possible major crater, massive crater on the surface of the moon. It goes to Copernicus, and in straight lines too. Very, 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 very straight lines. There's a pipe that goes right through Tycho crater. Has anyone ever seen that? Has anyone ever noticed it? In my footage, in your own footage, there's a big pipe that goes left to right, right through Tycho crater. It goes all the way down to Copernicus crater. We'll see it here now as we're descending. See the white line that goes from Tycho crater to Copernicus crater, Aristarchus crater up over top at the back. You can see it there. And Tycho crater is sitting like what's in a massive square hole that descends. There are elevated levels that goes up from Tycho crater to Aristarchus crater with spherical objects, guys, and what looks like shafts to get up to the levels, straight up. Like when you look at the end of these white roads, like objects, you can see these shafts. I've seen, at least without exaggerating, 10 to 15 of them on the surface of the moon. Yes, I've been looking for some of them, and now I'm noticing them. See here to the left of Tycho crater, the pipe that's coming out also has an L shape that cuts into it and veers off to two lights that are there. There's Copernicus, the lights in unison there, all in line with Copernicus crater. It's just too obvious that something's going on the surface of the moon. We're seeing so much. Well, when we get the telescope, it's going to be pretty amazing because I'm going to be able to really clarify and get into this surface. The telescope I was looking into that I want to get, the Celestron. Now look, we're raising $9,000. I looked into the price here. It is $9,000 taxable. Obviously, it's a bit higher than that. I am going to pay some too. I've been saving up too. But it is an expensive telescope. I want you guys to know that. Telescopes are expensive when you go from a 14 or even a 13 or an 8. Me, myself, the 127 SLT that I have is a 1500 millimeter computerized telescope, starfinder telescope, which I've never used to find stars because it doesn't align itself. But anyways, I use this telescope and I'm able to get all the work that I've gotten so far with applying my techniques of zooming up into the photo without losing the quality. It's what's the hardest thing to do, to resize, the format, the aspect ratio. It's a very, 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 very complicated and long process. But once you get it right, it works. Beautiful, beautiful. This is the complex that we found this summer, but in general, I started talking about it a lot more now. But it's in many, 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 many of my videos. I posted it I don't know how many times. Here at the far side, you can see it back there, the edge. So interesting. I love the craters on the edge, and that's where the structures are inside of these areas. Just absolutely amazing. What I would do to be able to turn the moon 100 miles or so, just to be able to see an extra ridge line there. It's amazing what's on the outer limits of the moon. And you can see that the moon is really egg-shaped. It is not round, that's for sure. And, how is it staying near the moon? The moon is beside Earth. And, okay, when they say locked, what do they mean by locked? See the line in Sinus Iridum? Also a pipe that goes through Sinus Iridum from Mare Serenitatis. So these spider-like lines that you see leaving Tycho crater, everyone says that it's around Tycho crater. It's not. It's all over the surface, and in the elevated levels, and sorry, the lower levels of the surface of the moon, there are also these spider web-like strands, or silver-like blurry strands, if you want. It's just ugly. It's out of shape, sort of white object to just thrown across the screen. But it could be the camo. It could be the way of hiding their structures. It could be an insulation. It could be transistors, pipes, tunnels, fans, water, liquid, something in it, fuel, oil. I mean, hey, I wouldn't put anything past what they're doing on there. The moon could be holding all the reserves in the world. Look here, dead center, castle-like object. Do you see it? Dead center, veering off left, going to the bottom right corner right now. Big, high, massive white object just below Tycho crater, very close to Cassini crater, the double crater. Look at this, guys, and it's huge. It's pretty impressive. I got it first. The first time was during the supermoon, and I was astonished seeing it. It just basically looks like a ruined castle, and you see a lot of bases around it, very complex bases, very very beautiful and amazing surface around there. This is the force. My family online helping me and the community. They are the community, part of the community, raising $9,000 so that we can get a nice telescope.